What a beautiful, beautiful moment. What a blessing to be alive. Everyone, what is going on? This is Jordan with Conquer, trading and investing, getting ready here for our Fajita Friday session. I love it. That's beautiful. Everyone, listen, I'm so excited to be here with you all and looking forward. We have a lot to cover in this session, a lot to clean up from this week. We covered so much this week. What an important week here we've put in together. We got right now Bitcoin trading at $58,500. It's looking like it's getting ready set, perhaps to break out. We all know we could be expecting a shakeout, right? Everyone knows. I feel like everyone has the most clearest situational awareness there possibly could be on the corn across the whole World Wide Web. I think everyone here feels really good about what to expect. Although it looks like price is getting ready to break out over here, if we've gone ahead and lined up this bull flag that was developing over here, the small one that you all showed me on Twitter, we broke out of it, right? We still have the big resistance ahead of us. 61,000, 60,200, whatever you want to call it, the shiny, dark, white line over here, get above it, and it looked like it's on. We had that really nice awareness of the resistance of the bull flag. Once we broke out of it, we stayed fully positioned. I went fully positioned in more over here on this tick, taking out that higher high over there by $1 or $2 or 10 or whatever it was. And then I had to deposition, staying fully positioned though, because we're still technically uber bullish over here. We'll see what happens next, but everyone should have the, let's say, and if you don't, just go back and watch this week's videos. Absolutely, truly exceptional. We covered a lot of stuff over here. I feel like we left a lot of people behind, so we'll probably take our time to make sure that everyone's on the same page. And although I thought I'm just going to follow the flow here. I'm not, let's say, don't have the necessity to go ahead and spit fire. I just want to make sure we cover what we need to cover over here and do it together. All right, so thanks for being here over here. We have the dollar this morning holding the channel support over here so far. Whether or not this leads to a bounce that is then retraced down and resumes down, I have no idea yet. We're just following. We have the awareness that we're watching. We need to break above this trend line over here as we're pulling back and consolidating and for another leg to come up. Yesterday, we noted that the 10-year still has that very bullish structure to it above the outer resistance. Not only that, it's come down and tested it. It went up and made a higher high, and you can see it just put in a higher low, over here. So the structure here is still very bullish. It is consolidating. The only point we would say we're kind of out of the woods over here and we're going to see yields come off would be if we drop down below the 143. So this is very bullish over here as the dollar is coming into that trend line support. And just so everyone knows, back on the DXY over here, I added this yesterday during our session together so everyone was on the same page. And I showed you this lower trend line support below it. It's, we're just waiting and watching. That's all. It's too soon. What did gold and silver and how did they react to that little bit of dollar bounce this morning? Before, as we were just talking about the 10-year though, yesterday in the meeting minutes over here, Jerome signaled this is verbal intervention, nothing more. This is what the Fed does. And right now you can see what the market is doing to that verbal intervention. It's saying to the Fed, all right, we'll call your bluff. That's all that's happening. Not a big deal. And if you go ahead and you read the details and not the headlines, right, when the Fed signals that it's possibly going to do yield color control. Listen, this is really, the Fed has no qualms about helping the front end when necessary. But at that moment, it seems things would have to get worse before the Fed steps in. Nothing has changed at all. We're just going to leave it at that. Nothing. There's Brad's beautiful chart over here. You can see that so far we're holding that lower trend line support over there, coming into the little bit of resistance right now. Right on time. We'll see how this plays out and what takes place. Gold and silver feeling as the dollar bounces over here, feeling it coming off a little bit. But you could see that what happened here on gold first. You could see if I just zoom back a little bit to give you that perspective. Since breaking back into the pattern, this consolidation pattern that's been going on since August, gold is now coming in for the retest to see if that broken resistance is going to hold that support. It's very clean on silver, right? You can see over here, back to where the entry point was, back to trading below where the first entry could have been over here, as this was an anomaly that I pointed out over here, as price was rejected by the resistance I talked about if it went ahead and broke out, that could provide an entry. Price now coming in for a classic conquering the markets breakout retest, right? If you're not into this trade and you're lining it up, what's happening? It's Friday. You're not taking an entry today. Markets are closed over the weekend. There's no way as New York hits the street that you're taking new entries over here today. But this would be setting up for next week if this winds up holding, right? If it winds up holding and then making a higher high than the previous buy, especially during the London session on Monday, does that provide an entry over there? Of course, that's conquering the markets all day long, and it'll keep you out of an entry over here if you never get the entry. We fall back below this trend line, and if it's a false breakout, then again, we'll watch what happens as the dollar could possibly then be breaking out over there. Everything lining up together. Let me cover the equity markets really quick. S&P 500. Oh, wow. S&P 500, this is a big deal. It hit 4,100. Why I say it's a big deal, if you go back, and I know Andre did, if you go back into April, right? What's going on with the charts there? If you go back to April of 2020, right over here, I said, listen, and this was the most difficult part of 2020 to trade. It was April 2020. It was the most difficult month to trade. I want to line it up over here. Here we go. It was in this area over here. And at this point, we didn't know if we were going to come back and test. I think I said 24, 23, or if we were going to go to 4,100. That's exactly what I said. Go back and watch those videos over here. I didn't know what was going to happen, but what happened was we came in and we hit 4,100 and we hit it yesterday. That's a big deal. I don't know how many other traditional finance guys were on point at that point. It wasn't until weeks later, it wasn't until May that we said, all right, no, there's no way you could sell the equity markets any longer. It was basically forbidden, not financial advice. And here we are. And then it was over the summer in August when they became not interesting any longer. And really, that's where we are over there. What about the Nasdaq? You could see the Nasdaq, look, this looks like the yen pairs that we saw playing out earlier this week. They broke out of their bull flags, and then they came down, smacking down pretty hard and fast. It still is technically very bullish over here. Nasdaq has not yet made the all-time high. That's something that I'm waiting and watching for, just to check a little notch off the belt over there. You could see that so far the futures this morning, when I first came to work, the futures, Russell and the Dow futures were actually up. They've now turned red. We'll see what happens today. Yeah, when I say we'll see what happens today, I mean, it's interesting after yesterday Fed meeting minutes released, how the market digests that all today. That's interesting, but not much more than that. All right, where does that bring us? Back to Bitcoin, or should I even? I don't want to trigger the crowd. This is something that I've ever since January have been pointing out to you. This is XAU BTC. This is gold Bitcoin, right? And I've been pointing out this is one of the easiest trades of 2021, right? Here it is, and I guess it was taken at face value at that point. We'll talk about that in a little bit. That continues over here as Bitcoin's getting ready to perhaps break out as gold does in the pressure today, going back to make new yearly lows. The next breakout of Bitcoin is what's going to send this, because this is all about Bitcoin. And this is all about the bull market of Bitcoin right now. But everyone knows that. So, by the way, looking extraordinarily bullish. We'll see what happens. Ethereum also is looking so tasty and good over here. You could see it. Let me go ahead and pull up my paint over here. And you could see, if I were to clone this line over here, and it's just a rough stroke, paint stroke, you could see over here you have two of those, and then clone it again, top tick. That's where we are right now. If you're tracking and watching Ethereum over here, like for a, let's call it day trade, you have your cheat sheet well-defined right over there and a breakout over there. That should send Ethereum back to new all-time highs and into strong price discovery if we get a breakout together. And this is happening with the strong dollar, by the way, right? Why? Because now we're into the second quarter 2021. Bitcoin really doesn't care what the dollar's doing, right? Bitcoin we're not seeing any type of liquidity crisis that we saw back in February and into March. The world is not on lockdown right now, and Jerome has gone ahead and flooded the system with dollars. So as we're seeing the dollar strengthening relatively to other fiat, Bitcoin really doesn't care. And that's that over here. All right, so that's a, focus on the technicals, would you, Jordan? We got a pretty clean look about what's going on over here across the markets, except for oil. Let me show you really quick what's going on over here with oil. And you can see that this is the line over here, this trend line. We said we have to break above here before you could start looking at oil to the upside once again. Nothing has happened since. Look at this. And this trend line over here, we are just consolidating still in there. It is so important not to be involved in the market when you are consolidating, and being able to recognize when price might go into consolidation and set levels that it's breaking out is super helpful to keep you out of trouble over there. This is like, again, it's just cheat sheets being shared across across the pairs today. What else? What else? We got our, what is that? 5 minutes? 10 minutes? And because we do what we do, 10 minutes, because we do what we do every day, we continue to be dialed into the markets. All markets, super hyper focused. That's what the laser eyes are for over there, right? All right, let's check out a couple of other things over here. We got, let's clean this up over here. This is from James, zero sub game. Invest in the bear market, sell in the bull. What? On the I don't know what's going on over there, James. I think we have that backwards, right? Invest in the bull market, sell the bear, rinse and repeat, right? It's a 4-year cycle. I think that's what James is seeing that he's learning over here. Don't buy assets that have increased in value 2,000 to 2,000% in 12 months. That's what I hear from watching your videos, right? Dumb money buys now from the smart who bought in the bear market low. Am I wrong? James, you're kind of there, but you're very often nuanced, right? So let's clean that up a little. So with the one qualifier though, before we even talk about that, in my opinion right now is a really good time to buy Bitcoin. There's a lot more upside during this current bull market phase. If anyone now is looking at the chart of Bitcoin and understanding the 4-year cycle, and if you don't understand the 4-year cycle yet, go ahead and watch some of the Bitcoin playlist that we put together. Extraordinary tutorials on what the Bitcoin 4-year cycle looks like. We have, in my opinion, for whatever that's worth, a tremendous amount of upside left, right? It's still very early over here. And most likely, I believe that we're trading right now under the bear market low. All right. There's a really good chance we're trading underneath the bear market low. It's an extraordinarily good time, in my opinion, to be buying Bitcoin. Listen, the other thing that I wanted to talk about in there was that, anyway, I don't really use this, dumb and smart money and things like that. I don't really want to I'll take a poke at, self-proclaimed experts of macro world who can't get it right. But, as far as everyone here who's looking to learn, that if you're here and you have an open mind and you're looking to learn, that's as smart as you can get. There's no question about that. As far as Bitcoin being early or not, right? This is a comment from Joel. I'm in California. I've worked in tax for a while. My take on the avoid profit due to tax is that people fail to realize that on the repurchases that they determine they have lost that tax percentage on, adjust their cost basis also, meaning future disposals would incur less taxable profit. Most people don't comprehend that second part. Makes sense. I have some Bitcoin on Robinhood that's been there for over a year, and I've been avoiding selling it, moving it due to taxes. But you're right. Now I understand. Focus on the gain. This is it, Bill. Focus on the gain, not the taxes. Get in and get out when it's best. Focused on whether short-term tax gain or lower long-term is small. Thinking, which can lead to losses, CTM all day long. Paying tax on your successes is part of the cost of doing business. You have to get over this hurdle. If you're afraid to make money because you're afraid to pay tax, you're completely doing it wrong. And I know for sure that people involved in conquering the markets have a bunch of tax to pay. I don't think anyone has a problem with it. That's what you're here for, right? To make money. So either which way, let's put that to rest over here and keep going. Jordan, this is great. This is great. Elias is asking, by the way, Elias, thank you. Stefano, thank you. Thank you to all the moderators. I woke up this morning, started going through the YouTube comments, and I noticed that you guys have been at work all morning. Thank you so much. Would you consider numbering the videos? It would make for an easy referencing system go back and watch episode 188, right around the 20-minute mark is where I said such and such. Absolutely. Absolutely, we will do that going forward, at least starting on Monday. Maybe I'll go back this week and start numbering some. And then we'll go ahead and going forward, we will have all the videos numbered so that we could easily keep track of things. That's a great insight. By the way, if you are watching the stream and you're able to go ahead and to timestamp and share in the comments any sections, that would be super helpful for me later in the day, going back and putting that all together. And then we have not only each video numbered, but each video also subtitled and sectioned so that we could go back. That would be super helpful. So if you're here watching and you're able to do that, please do that. All right, what else? Yes, we have Greg. For our Conquering the Market live sessions, Tom has gone ahead and he's subtitled every single video that we've ever done. I am in the process, it's vacation week, I am in the process of going ahead and making sure that's accessible to everyone, and that's all put onto those videos. And then Brad has gone ahead with the website and he's made it so that we'll be able to search through different topics. So that's all super helpful. But if people who are watching the videos here or live streams, if they're able to go ahead and in the comments, go ahead and put from this mark on is what that all adds up together. That's helpful. Lemmy's wondering, right, if we could explain why I chose gold as the next all-in trade after Bitcoin. So what exactly makes it the next best trade in your opinion? Is it because of further money printing that will keep on happening, further devaluing the dollar? Does this have something to do with a reset that will happen soon? Anything else? So a lot to unpack over here. First of all, and I should start from the bottom and go up, but I'm going to start from the top and go down. Listen, gold is not my next all-in trade after Bitcoin. All right, just be very clear. We did an exiting Bitcoin in the Conquering the Markets live training session, and we put out 3 different strategies. Just in the bull market, I'm deploying multiple strategies. In the bear market, I'm deploying multiple strategies, right? The first one, which is probably the easiest, which is the one that probably most of you should do, right? Which is just exiting into dollars, right? And before I go any further, this is really interesting over here. Alan yesterday saying, look, he was talking about he would likely speak with Brandon about on an upcoming stream how DeFi will play a part in his exit into stable coins for sure, right? And his exit won't be all at once. I was like, Alan, listen, I would love to discuss that with Brandon and you on a CTM training session. Alan's like, I'm sure we could arrange that. Stable coins are like a temporary position that takes the pressure off, right? You don't have any pressure. You could see what you're doing next. Not least as you can make those tradings using DeFi, avoiding any issues with centralized exchanges. Later on, I am so looking forward to learning about how Alan is all over DeFi. Alan's all over the space. I always appreciate and learn from him and his work. I would love to hear him and Brandon discuss this, because that for strategy number 1, right? And by the way, strategy number 1 also, like inside my business BlockFi, that will simply be either buy stablecoin USDC, right? Am I going to buy Pax Gold there? I'm not going to there because I'm deploying a different strategy for my gold. Strategy number 2, we'll talk about that in a second. But I want to learn every option and the best option so that I know what I'm looking to do. But the first strategy, and for most people, is simply going ahead and exiting to a stable coin, waiting for the bear market low, and then positioning back into Bitcoin. And if you're just doing that, by the way, you are way ahead of the game, even though it's the easiest strategy than almost everybody else that's in the game. And the name of the game, by the way, is simply to acquire as much Bitcoin as you can. At least that's what it is for myself. So Alan, Brandon, really looking forward to that and sharing that with you. That brings me back over here. Okay, that brings me back over here. Listen, and I'm not going to get into it here. I'll get into that later. Maybe I'm even going to do a video for exiting Bitcoin, a public summary, not getting into the detail and nuances that I do with the Conquering the Markets CTM live sessions in the community, right? But, does it make sense for someone also to hold a portion of their Bitcoin in a lending platform collecting interest, 8.6? We'll talk about the pros and the cons, and it's a lot more risky, in my opinion, doing that at the top of the bull market cycle than it is at the bottom, right? But there are certain lending platforms like BlockFi that I feel comfortable with compared to others, right? There's other options out there. There's also Binance. There's also Gemini. You could spread your risk. If one goes down, they're probably all going down, by the way. Be very careful. That's when the most risk is in there. But if you have a certain amount of Bitcoin and that Bitcoin and the interest is going to pay all of your expenses during the bear market, is that something you're interested in? Maybe, or it might just make more sense to actually just take that profit, take it off the top, and then budget your money ahead. That's not what we're getting into right now. I just want to make it clear for everyone right now that I'm not choosing gold as my next all-in trade after Bitcoin. That's simply strategy number 2. Now, the other things that Lemmy added are absolutely important, right? Is there the possibility, and part of not one of my 3 strategies, by the way, I will also be purchasing, right, physical gold. Physical unleveraged gold, keeping it in a vault overseas over here and over there. That has nothing to do with any of my 3 strategies for the bear market. That's just like as I've always been. I've always been a stacker. You know, I love the physical stuff. It's who I am, going ahead and making sure that insurance policy is available for the future generations, right? Is it because the further money printing that will keep on happening, further devaluing the dollar? Do I think right over here, if the Fed does implement yield control curve, that gold and silver are going to go ballistic? Yep. Could that possibly play out, making the trade that I'm talking about and we'll talk about next even that much more lucrative? Yes, that's a possibility. That's not why, but that's a possibility that could happen because they have something to do with a reset. I talked about yesterday with you or the day before, how Janet is getting ready to sit down with her friends and talk about a new Bretton Woods and a system reset. Will gold be repriced? Maybe. That could definitely happen. If that happens, rest assured, you're going to want to be positioned into gold, but that's not the reason for the trade. Listen, I'm guessing that now we're going to talk about strategy number 2 really quick. Gold, Bitcoin, right? Nothing about dollars in there, by the way. It's gold, Bitcoin. Listen, don't tell me to check my math. My math adds up. If you don't understand it, stick with strategy number 1, right? That's for mom. That's what you want to do. Jordan, I'm guessing that people who don't understand your gold Bitcoin math think that you are advocating buying gold after selling Bitcoin and do not understand that your trade would be on the gold Bitcoin pair. Fair enough, right? It was said over and over, and I did go above and beyond with great love, trying to explain things that could be researched to people that don't have, a true display of altruism. Thank you for that. That's from the heart, because it is important for me to take as many people as possible. There's no question about that. All right, Jordan, the recommendation is to exit Bitcoin into gold, but I have the same exact question, what platform to use? Okay, couple of things. First of all, when we talked about the first exiting Bitcoin live, conquering the market session, if you have access to that wealth of knowledge and you have not yet watched that video on the Conquering the Markets recommended playlist, do that today or this weekend. And then watch the second one that we did last week. Both of them are absolute fire. I talked about the fact of a couple of things, right? I gave a couple of different possibilities to execute, right? But I also said, listen, I'm not telling you how I execute. It's not what I do at any time ever, right? This is not what I do. I'm giving you the trade, and if you're able to figure it out, that's great, right? Someone also is asking, like, you could buy it on Binance, right? If you wanted to trade, why people are not asking ahead of time when I'm like, listen, in 2021, one of the easiest and clearest trades is probably short Pax Gold or short XAU Bitcoin, but they want to know for the upside. Maybe they're interested of what I'm thinking of exiting into and how I'm deploying my strategies. And if that's the case, and you're not in the Conquering the Market live training sessions, you have to ask yourself what you're doing, right? So how much volume is on Binance for this particular pair? I don't know. How much volume is on Kraken for Pax Gold XAU? I don't know. If you're interested in one of the other options I've gave to help you think creatively, you could check that out. But that's not what I'm here for. By the way, this was Catlin Long out of Wyoming doing some amazing work over here. Oh, and also asterisk, by the way, why there are some issues with Kraken, right? About what has happened with some of their margin trades. And you can't trade Pax Gold on, to the best of my knowledge, Bitcoin on leverage. It's not a leverage trade that you need to take. If you're talking about a 2x to 5x, or if one of the things that happened that Lemmy talked about, a who knows what x, you don't need leverage to go ahead and drastically increase your Bitcoin stack coming into the next bull market. Either which way, they do. Kraken is registered as a bank, a crypto exchange registered as a bank over in Wyoming. Catlin's Avante is the other one that is registered as a bank over in Wyoming. She's saying, watch out, right? Pure Digital is being offered as an OTC offer. Hold on one second. The banks are getting in. They're making their own platforms for trading, and it's going to be leveraged to the hilt, to the tilt, right? This is absolutely dangerous. This is absolutely ugly because, as she notes, Bitcoin and leverage do not mix well, and it's not going to end well for the banks. What's going to happen over here if we do see Bitcoin come off 70% in 6 weeks after the blow off top? What's going to happen to these banks who don't understand Bitcoin? If you're this late to Bitcoin, you simply don't understand it. How quick their learning curve is, I don't know. We have people like Michael Saylor telling us, listen, there's not going to be a bear market. The institutions are here. We'll see, and we'll see who's right and proven right in the end. That's what the markets do. Jordan, I watch the replays every day for several months. I live in Hawaii. Live is pretty early for me. I'm learning so much. Why I was a loser trader in the past, thank you. I plan to take your Forex class later this year when my time frees up. I did take a position in Grayscale GBTC last fall, and I'm disappointed with the discount it has been trading at over the last few weeks. Can anyone shed any light on why this is? Our friend Lynn Alden did a podcast last week on what Bitcoin did. If you go to the What Bitcoin Did podcast, if you look for the most recent upload with Lynn Alden, she gives her opinion. It's chapterized. You could go ahead and find it right away on what's going on with the premium and what she thinks happens for here. You might want to listen to that. I think it'll be helpful for you. We had over here Hester Pierce, SEC's Hester Pierce, saying it would be foolish for governments to ban Bitcoin. That's stuff that we like to hear. She also said that it's impossible. It would be like you would have to shut down the internet, but we all know that, and we all knew that. Let me go ahead and pause 1 second. Let me drop some head snack. It's a taco day, and then I'll come back and we'll continue this.
Markets, analyzing the charts, hitting projected targets within the margin. Find the flow, sip a matcha, and wait for the waves to come in with lobsters. The kind-hearted Jordan Fosters, working smarter, not harder to move the markers. On his way to conquer, trading and investing, drinking the coffee while reflecting on the blessing. The markets are not crashing, the prices might be slashing just to pretend they're in fashion. Hit the like button, comments, and smash it. Boom, boom, Jordan in the room, grab the bull by the horns, off to the moon. Throw from the plateau, make the play. Boom, boom, it's a taco day. It's a taco day. It's a taco day.
It's actually, you know what? It's Friday. If you have a second, boom, boom. If you have a second, go ahead and smash the like button over on Head Snack's channel for the Conquering the Markets theme song. So grateful for him sharing that and creating that for us. That took a lot of time and a lot of love right over there. Absolutely love it and enjoy it myself over there. Speaking of boom, boom, here we go. Let's see Bitcoin trading at 58,600. It is a Friday. All right, wanted to say thank you for all you've done. Your teaching has done so much for me and given me a whole new outlook on investing. I feel like I'm always in control of my financial freedom. Wow, that's power right there. The CTM family is like no other. Boom, period, the end. The CTM family is like no other. Beautiful to have you here with us. And whether you're watching live or on the replay, you're definitely part of this. Listen, last one. Jordan, when you exit Bitcoin, what gold will you put your money into? I'm not going to tell you about how I execute, right? You get nuggets and hints here and there. I have 3 different strategies I will be deploying for the bear market when I exit Bitcoin. You have to watch the CTM live training session, exiting Bitcoin, XAU BTC, or whether you want to play it Pax Gold BTC, is simply strategy number 2. The third one, by the way, right? Look at this. This is, pay attention really quick. Jordan, regarding the whole debate on Twitter about XAU BTC for selling the top into dollars, on Bybit, you can actually short Bitcoin versus US Tether and make more US dollar, USDT. That would be a good alternative versus going into XAU Bitcoin, right? Since it's hard to find platforms that allow gold versus Bitcoin with leverage, Kraken unfortunately doesn't trade Pax Gold with margin leverage, just spot. Spot is all you need, by the way. Second of all, over here, listen, in this most recent, last week's Conquering the Market session, we covered in detail the best way to play the US dollar. It's strategy number 3 of exiting Bitcoin. It's the most advanced and the most effective. I'm going to be deploying it. We're setting up a whole thread, a whole discussion forum inside the Discord to focus on that. If you're interested, do I think that going short Bitcoin and long US dollar on leverage is the best way to do it? I do not. Watch the video if you want to know what is. And that's all we have to say on that topic. I felt like it confused a lot of people, and I just want to be clear, right? My plan for the exiting Bitcoin is simply not to go all into gold. That's just strategy number 2, okay? The same way in the bull market, I'm using multiple strategies. It's the same exact thing, and I hope we can leave this week now covering a lot, but also at the same time, all being pretty clear, all right? That's what's important to me. What else? Is it a paywall? Is it a paywall? Listen, Thomas, it costs next to nothing. If you want the details in the description below, it costs next to nothing. The education, the information is absolutely invaluable, in my opinion, right? Before we started doing the Bitcoin series and just focusing on FX, that information was a wealth of invaluable information and will teach you how to trade any market. Add in just the Bitcoin series alone. I mean, if you're thinking about it as a paywall, your whole mindset is twisted and wrong. And that's what you have to fix first. You have to understand the whole idea is to educate yourself so that you could execute yourself. And if you think that, like, you know, whatever the course costs is a paywall, you're doing it wrong. All right. So what else? Thank you, Joseph, for helping build me up and letting me know. I'm looking over here. I see 670 likes. I'm thinking, wow, that's light. So thank you for that, Joseph. That negates all of that. Just letting me know. That's really, really important to me. Thank you for that. Heath, absolutely. Heath, by the way, just continues to bring it and bring it strong all the time. You have to follow Heath on Trade Talk, especially this weekend when he puts out his weekend video. If you're in the description below is the Telegram link. If it's the Telegram broadcast channel, anytime I go live, anytime Heath goes live or publish a video, or even Brandon on Crypto Trades and Tech, you're gonna get that alert. Make sure that you go to the description below and you get onto that video. Head Snacks video is also below there too if you want to give that a like. Right over here, Aaron. Also, please, 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 please. Listen, moderators. If someone's not using language properly, you know, I guess maybe a timeout. Like, I got a bunch of little kids. We got 5 kids, 1 on the way. You know, when it's time to discipline, we have to discipline. There's lots of love here, but if you're not disciplining, there's no love. You can't use foul language here, right? Think about what you're putting out there and creating by cursing. What are you thinking? Be a blessing. Don't be a curse to life. Come on. Anyway, my kids will be watching this. It will be required they watch these videos to get a financial education. Let's keep it clean for sure, right? What else we got going on over here? It's a Friday session. If there's anything that we need to talk about, let's talk about it now. Anyone let me know in the comments below. Boom, 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 boom. Good vibes are good stuff. We like that. Good vibes are good stuff. That's right, Gene. I mean, you're absolutely right, Gene. Not only do you get access to the course and all of the material and training sessions, but you're plugged into the Conquering the Markets Discord community, which is just absolutely, you can't put a value on it. And whether or not, it's up to you if you want to be a part of it or not. For sure, you could just watch these public live streams that we do every day and change your life. It's happened to, way too many people. There's no question about that. Thank you, though, Gene. I appreciate that. Stefan, welcome, my brother. I'm so glad to hear that. Right? What else we got going over here? Skills for life. It costs less than your monthly coffee. Walter putting into some context over there. What's going on with the charts over here? What else? Silver, read, please. Yeah. No, listen, just so everyone's on the same page over here, what I do, is I just look at these charts and let you know what I'm seeing. I hope my analysis, by the way, helps you solidify your own. That's what I do here. I love, and this is one of my favorite things over the last few months, is I love seeing everyone else's chart work, especially inside the Discord, also on Twitter. And I see the level of everyone's TA just blows everyone else's away, across the internet. And I could just watch your guys' charts in TA now and have a perfect read on the markets. That's iron sharpens iron. That's lifting everyone's game. That's what we do here and how we do it. But I'm not going to tell you buy this, sell that, ever. Not financial advice. If you don't know how to do it yourself and when to do it, you should not be doing it. So instead of continuing to lose money, which you are, you should take the little bit of change it costs to join the course. Do not trade at all. First, learn how to profit on a demo account. The market's always going to be there. There's always opportunity. It's up to you whether you're in a rush to lose money or you want to change your life and learn a skill set that's going to help you go ahead and conquer the markets. Enough of that, though, right? But it's helpful for people out there. There's no question about it. So if we look back at the DXY from November 1999 to November 2000, it was going up with the markets, right? So listen, Robert, all I'm going to tell you right now is that there are certain times that you will see the markets correlated and other times uncorrelated. If you look at the DXY also in this is going back last year, 1999, December 1999 over here, right? No, it's not December 1999. This is December 1999 over here. If you're looking at the dollar and the markets into February, they're also rising. That the time you pointed out in 1999 to 2000 is not the only time. It happens on and off, and it's not unusual for the dollar to go up with the equity markets also going up. Also, be aware in this particular stretch over here, not only was the dollar rising, gold outperformed the dollar over here. So be careful on correlations and use correlations to kind of paint a picture for what's going on with the overall market picture at that particular time. Right now, there's a direct correlation between yields and gold and precious metals. That should be clear as day to everyone, okay? Does that mean that it's going to last or that the precious metals could not break out in the future with yields rising? No, it does not. If the debt is getting out of control and that people are beginning to lose faith on whether or not the U.S. has the ability to pay back that debt without, defaulting, whether it's defaulting through inflation or defaulting through outright default, like overnight 30% devaluation of the dollar, people are going to start positioning into precious metals. So, the correlation's there, why it's there. And then when it's no longer there, it's no longer there. Be very careful. Thank you, JC. Thanks for being here forever, JC. Yes, that's right. Peter, thank you every day. I mean, can you imagine how much Peter adds to the community? Each and every day, he's out there thanking the moderators for doing all they do. Thank you, Peter, for being that light for me. I appreciate that very much. Right? There you go. That's what it takes. It takes laser focus each and every day. That's why we're able to conquer the markets. That's why we have this track record of being on the right side of all markets all the time, is because we have that laser focus each and every day. We know how to manage our risk. It's what we do, right? So what else are we looking at? Low time preference, growth orientated, Relentlessly learning. Woo! Love those words together. Relentlessly learning. And it doesn't even feel like learning. It feels like passion. That's all it feels like, right? I remember, 20, 21 years ago when I first got into the markets. How old am I now? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. That was when I first went full time. I can remember, 26 years ago when I first got into the markets, my favorite thing to do was have a cup of coffee in my hand and be looking at charts. Saturday morning, markets are closed, coffee in hand, looking at the charts. That has not changed 26 or so years later. It's still my passion. It's still what I love to do. And I love it more doing it all with all of you. That's for sure. So what else are we looking at today? Thoughts on Tesla? It's been a while. Let's look at a chart of Tesla, okay? So what's Tesla doing? Let me step back over here. Let me pull up a 3-day chart first, okay? I want Tesla. Right? Tesla it looks like your timing of looking at Tesla is very appropriate. It looks like it's getting ready for a move here. The last time it consolidated, look at this consolidation it put out for a while, and then the massive move. Markets, we all know, go through phases of consolidation and then expansion. The consolidation phases generally last longer than the expansion stages. Markets are either consolidating or expanding. Here you can see the consolidation. Tesla looks like it's ready to break out or break down, possibility, but soon. So keep tracking that if you're watching Tesla. As far as Tesla, the company and all that, listen, I'm just watching price, right? That's all I'm doing. I'm watching price. What else? Thomas, that's why there's a monthly option. I disagree with you. That's why there's a monthly option, right? I mean, listen, I have nothing but love for everyone. And why I have nothing but love for everyone, if I can't take you with me, that's okay. What I mean by that is if you're stubborn, right? If you're, if you're programmed such that you can't learn to think for yourself, I can't help you. If you're not willing to commit your time every day and you're just like looking, what do I buy? I can't help you. I'm here, I'm open, I'm willing, and I'm giving, but it's up to you ultimately. It's all in your hands. There's no question about that, right? 100%. Yeah, we could look at some alts. Would love to look at some alts for sure. Let's do that. You ready? I'll start over here with Ethereum, Bitcoin. The two of these have been battling it out, right? The two of these have been battling out. Let's come down. Should we stay on the 3-day? No. Right? The three of these have been battling it out for a while, and you can see that price is really not going anywhere. Does that continue? I don't know. I think if we get a breakout over here, when I mean a breakout, seeing Bitcoin going back into price discovery, I think that Ethereum will be also with it. I don't really have an edge on playing Ethereum Bitcoin at this moment. The last time that we looked at it, we just said, listen, at this point, it made sense to manage your risk when we came back and touched this trend line support over here and horizontal support, because you're wrong, right? So right over here, I feel like I'm in no man's land, and that's it. And I don't really have an edge. Look at other pairs versus Bitcoin, and just with that awareness, probably right now you should be looking at altcoins versus the US dollar, because if Bitcoin does break out over here, altcoins versus Bitcoin should feel some pressure initially, right? So I would be focused on US dollar pairs. So let's take a look at this versus the US dollar. Not too much different. It's holding up well, consolidating well versus Bitcoin also, and also here versus the US dollar. So versus Bitcoin and US dollar consolidating well. I think right now, my intuition is saying that Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to be running, and alts will be on the back burner initially, and then after, maybe as we get towards $70,000, and then as we get towards the resistance. Here's Brad's channel showing us where the resistance will be coming into play. The lower resistance right now is coming in right somewhere around $72,500. The upper resistance, I can't get a read on that right here, right now, but it looks like somewhere around $77,000. I can't see, and it depends how far we get up there. If that happens 2 weeks later, those prices are going to obviously be higher. we'll continue to monitor it. So right now I feel like is the time here to be focused on Bitcoin and Ethereum over the alts. But let's check out some, BNB continues to just boom. We talked about yesterday the smart contracts, the centralized, decentralized smart contracts being offered over there, and it continues just to be bazooka, right? Bazooka, bazooka, bazooka. I don't have what else could I add over here? This was the consolidate. I don't have anything to add over there. If it's not flowing, it's not flowing. Link US dollar, yeah. I mean, listen, I don't really want to look at alts because I believe right now the trade to be in is Bitcoin and or Ethereum, and that's that. So alts are not really that interesting right now. If and when we see the breakout over here, on Bitcoin and Ethereum, both of them set right over here, setting up, and they have the potential as they come into this resistance over here on Ethereum, clear as day. You can see Bitcoin trading below the resistance. If they break out, they're going to be the leaders, in my opinion, or at least that's where I'm focused in on. If you want to follow, alts and individual alts, go to my YouTube channel, go to the homepage, go down to the featured channels, and follow Brandon on Crypto Trades and Tech, and follow Heath on Trade Talk. Follow their live streams. They'll go over individual pairs with you for sure. They are conquering the markets to the core and all day long. No, I don't look at the rainbow chart. If you're watching the rainbow chart, you already exited Bitcoin, right? During the March 2020 anomaly. Yeah, we've been talking about that all week. Danny, if you're new here, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. We've been focused in on lining up the yen strength that we were seeing earlier in this week. Today we're seeing a little bit of bounce on Japanese yen pairs. It's Friday though, right? Wait to Heath's video over the weekend to get a read on FX for the upcoming week. Litecoin normally follows Bitcoin pretty well at this point of cycle. Let's take a look of how it's looking over there. Yep. It's tracking it very well as Bitcoin runs and Ethereum. Litecoin will be lock and step, I believe, right? What else? Thank you, Miguel. I don't think so, but that's all good. Each one does it. This week, for me personally, the Wednesday and Thursday sessions were so fine, like really beautiful, really good stuff. Whether it was the flow, the information shared, we were all over it. And I feel like, each and every day we're doing what it requires to make sure that we're on top of the most important trade that matters. And not only that we're on the right side across all markets. We do what we need to do. We cover it well. And that's what I'm grateful for. But Wednesdays and Thursdays were very, very, very special sessions. And I'm really, I told my wife and my eldest daughter, after I'm like, it was the best session ever. They're like, you always say that. I'm like, no, I don't. For the last 2 weeks, I really haven't said that much, and I say it when I mean it. And if I'm saying it often, it's I really believe because it's important that each day we do what we need to do to make sure that we're covered, So what Cardano, let's take a look over here. Cardano's holding up. You see that support over there? This was don't chase. Now we're holding that support. So the thing about Cardano over here, this is a pretty easy trade. When I say it's a pretty easy trade is you have levels, if you break out over here and you have a stop loss over there, that's amazing because you're wrong. If you get stopped out over here after a breakout over here, you're wrong on the trade, you get out, you're managing your risk. And by the way, what's the risk to reward on this? Who knows? Because if we break out, if Bitcoin and Ethereum break out, and then you have the altcoins breaking out over here, it's just much higher, right? But all the way into the last the last yearly high over here, March, 17th, you're looking at like a 3-to-1 risk to reward, but that's not where you'd be taking any profit whatsoever. We're in a bull market over here, right? We got a ways to go. If price goes into price discovery, you're loading up further into the position. Not investment advice, but if you get into this trade with a 3-to-1 risk reward coming right into the high over here, as you get there, you're not looking to take profit. That's cutting your winners short. You're looking to not only push that, at that point, you're probably able to add to your position just as you're breaking to the new all-time high. So Cardano looks, like fantastic in the fact that I could really, if I get an entry, manage my risk really well. And that's what it all is all about. It's just managing your risk. The lines that we use and put up all the time on charts, always coming into play, they're there to manage our risk. That's what they're for. Yeah, so a couple of trades about, you guys could discuss that amongst yourself, right? Kimberly, even to lots of love. I do buy all my Bitcoin on BlockFi for sure. Is the easiest and best way that I know of. But as far as how I deploy strategies and execute, I don't get in that for lots of reasons. Right? That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to take a look at the markets with you, right? And show you how I see them, and that's that. Not really. I don't have any thoughts on MicroStrategy except for that, the amount of profit they've already made off Bitcoin has already proven Michael Saylor to be correct in an enormous fashion. Normally they make $50 million a year, and already they've made $2 billion this year, right? Coinbase made $1.8 billion first quarter 2021. MicroStrategy made $2 billion. If you do the math, you figure it out. No, I'm never. So just Dave, like the CME gaps, they don't mean anything to me here in the bull market. That's something that back when Bitcoin was trading below 10,000, I let everyone know. Listen, during the bull market phase, you're going to get a bunch of gaps that won't get filled. It's not it's nothing that I pay attention or worry about. And if you are, your time preference might be different than mine. That's all. Oh, so speaking of Riot, by the way, yesterday, they just purchased another competitor miner, right? So maybe, I don't know, Andy. So Andy's asking, I'm heavily invested into miners, and I'm noticing a massive bull flag on Riot. It's not. Let me check it out over here. This is what Andy's looking at this though, right? Look at this beautiful, 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 pattern on the breakout. Is that a bull flag? I don't think so. I don't think it's a bull flag. I think it's a triangle, but nevertheless, Andy, don't even worry about that. Whether it's a triangle or a bull flag, this is the line you're focused in on, right? It's that resistance line. It's the same for a triangle as it is for a bull flag, right? But it's the breakout above there that sets that trade off. So, I mean, it's a public markets. Be ready for gaps. They're hard, I just don't like it. But yeah, does it look like this is getting ready to set up and trigger to the upside? I don't know. I really don't know much about it. Looking at from just the pure TA price alone, where your signal is. There's no question about that. And you have to have the patience to wait. Don't try to be preemptive and oh, well, I think it's going to break, so I'm going to buy here. Because you're into resistance, and then if you come off, and if Andy's right, and that is a bull flag, right? You could test all the way down to this support area, which is the support of the bull flag, and the support over here. You're talking a loss of 50%. Don't ever do that. You always have to wait for the entry signal. And if you don't have the patience to wait for the entry signal, it sincerely means you don't know what you're doing yet. You have to acknowledge that. You have to spend more time learning, less time trading. Don't trade if you don't know what you're doing. Do take the course. Do work on a demo account. Learn how to trade FX. If you learn how to trade FX with the program I designed, you will be able to trade any market with confidence, calmness, and that's how you do it. Thank you, Eduardo. Kimberly, this is great. Kimberly right here is really set in my mind straight over there. Look at that attitude. Look at that. That's beautiful, Kimberly. You're entirely correct. Boom. Boom, boom. Kimberly on the flow. So what else are we looking at? Trading limits to exit Bitcoin. I don't know what you're talking about. What trading limits do you have to exit Bitcoin? Again, that's stuff that you could just research on your own. There's search engines to help you out over there. Talk to your broker, talk to your brokers, and do have more than one and figure out what's going on over there. Right. So, but listen, thank you. Have an awesome Friday. Thank you for being a blessing. Thank you for being such a beautiful person that you could go ahead and say something like that. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for you, right? Me too. That's what I do. I don't have any thoughts of Cardano over the next few months. I'm not dialed into it. And if I'm not dialed into it, I'm just not dialed into it. I really sincerely think that you should consult Brandon on Crypto Trades and Tech, who is hyper focused on Cardano. Just listen to his thoughts and see what he says. That's what I would recommend. That's what I would do. Any thoughts on Alibaba? Well, the Chinese government seems to be, doing their best to put pressure on Alibaba. That's all I can say about that. Go with the current, not against the current, in my opinion. James, I missed your earlier comment about a bear flag. I didn't see what you're referencing or talking about. So what else? I don't know anything about that. There are a lot of people. Listen, here, this could be, be very, equating Cardano to XRP. Is it possible? It is. Be careful. That's all I have to say. You all know where I'm focused. I'm focused on Bitcoin. There's a reason I'm focused on Bitcoin. There's no question that nothing could outperform Bitcoin lightly leveraged, in my opinion. You have to figure it out for yourself. But be very careful. There's no question about that, right? GBTC IPO, there's no GBTC IPO, right? Is GBTC going to transfer rollover into an ETF once ETFs are approved? Will they be the first ETF? I don't know anything about that. I'm focused on price over here, right? What would be the risk? Eduardo, like this week, truly, not only this week. All right, look, it was right around this time over here that I put out that video that's called Bitcoin Masterfully Lightly Leveraged. It doesn't talk about how to trade Bitcoin lightly leveraged. It talks about everything that we've looked at for the past year and how we've been the most on point when it came to every price wave and movement of Bitcoin, right? And then from over here, from this initial drawdown, and then the breakout of it, we had this line over here, the breakout of it as we came back and retested that lower break line. I have a trend line over there. All of this, again, like this was all done so masterfully. And each and every session here live together with all of you as we manage and set our risk is really a masterclass. And it's extraordinary. And that's what it is, right? When we talked about the breakout out of this wedge over here, right? And then right away, as we came into this, I put out that trend line right over there, right away, right? And then we broke out. I threw out that we were into bull flag over here before. Listen, we're always managing our risk. If you're not sure how to manage your risk for where we are right now, then you need to go back and you need to watch Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of our live streams when we covered Bitcoin, because it was given perfectly. Everyone here, as I started off this live stream, should have the perfect awareness for where we are right now, that we are fully positioned into Bitcoin. And as long as you stay above that resistance over there, you should remain fully positioned into Bitcoin. Go back and watch those past sessions, because they're going to give it to you and present it to you really like so beautifully, so well and so beautifully. And if you're unclear, as Bitcoin right here is at 58,456, where your risk is, then you have to go back and watch that, right? Because I could not replicate what I shared with you. It was done with so much love, with so much purpose at that particular time. Go back and watch it. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed, right? So let me go ahead and play a little bit of honeymoon vocals, and then we'll see what's up next. So, by the way, a couple of things here that I definitely want to get into. One of those is, when we talk about XRP equals Cardano question mark. I thought that meant, do you think the SEC could come against Cardano for being a security? That's how, and of course we don't know, right? We don't know if that's the case or not. This was Silvergate looking beautiful over here. It looks like Ethereum, right? Ethereum coming towards that upper resistance right over here right now. So is Silvergate. You all know the trigger and when that occurs. There was something else I wanted to talk about over here really quick. Boom, 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 boom. It was, and I will find it as I pause 1 second more. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Do I think that the crash for Bitcoin is going to cause a lot of liquidations from anyone who borrowed against their Bitcoin being the catalyst for the 80% correction? Listen, let me just rephrase that a little. Do I think it's risky to use a lending platform at the peak of the bull market? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Now, we all know that during the March crisis, when Bitcoin traded off 60%, there was no issues or problems. The thing is I don't know how many people are prepared for a 70% drawdown on Bitcoin in a 6-week period. If by November we have a 70% drawdown from September highs, what that would look like and how these quote unquote, institutions, hedge funds are able to manage their risk. I don't think they do it as well as us at all. I would be a little bit concerned, a little bit weary. Will the correction then be blamed on them later or something like? We'll see what happens, and we'll talk about it. But at that point, I would be very cautious and careful looking to collect 8% on a stable coin by keeping your funds on a lending platform. I'm hoping by then BlockFi will give you the opportunity to manage your own risk, to discern whether or not the Bitcoin you hold on that exchange is lent out or not. And they will be doing that. And if they're doing it at the time, I will have no issues or problems holding funds there. If they don't, at that point, I'm going to be highly cautious, and I'll give you more insight as that's 6, 7 months away of what's going on and what I'm doing at the time. So good thing I didn't have the mic off on that one, as I often do. Yeah, I don't follow the RSI on Bitcoin at all at any other time. It does not give me any edge that would be helpful to me. It's kind of confusing as Bitcoin breaks above 90 and or 95 because, while you're looking at the RSI being overbought at those levels, price could really, really, really break out and go much higher. RSI is really a difficult and indicator to use. It doesn't offer much value. Now, if you're trading a range-bound market and looking to buy when the RSI is oversold and sell when it's overbought, yeah. But Bitcoin is not a ranging market when it's in, the melt your face off, blow off vertical top. Right? In strong bull markets, many technicals will scare investors out too early, especially if you're using oscillators, just like the RSI I just spoke about. In this Bitcoin bull market, the key will be determining what technical is important. And that's why, at the end of the day, as you all know, that's why I'm following price. And I'm following price also with this awareness of the 4-year cycle and the timing of it, right? And that's why we have September 21st as our main goalpost of what we're watching. That's a time-based area to watch. And then we're watching how price is reacting at that particular time. We have all these little different markers knowing how alts are performing at that particular time, right? So listen, I feel confident. I feel comfortable. Price is king. All right, everyone. That's it into the weekend. We didn't have a Conquering the Markets live training session this week because of the holiday week. We do have 2 planned for next week, though. It's not really to make up for this week. It's a holiday week, but because there's that much stuff we need to cover. So instead of our normally 1 training session, we have 2 scheduled for next week. One's going to be on exiting Bitcoin, looking at price, what things we're going to be watching, making sure that we continue to be on point of the most important thing that matters, as well as we're going to be taking a look at Forex weekly recaps, holding yourself accountable, how you use MyFX book, how you could use the Discord group to further that. And that's where we are. I hope you all really have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for spending this time together. Thank you for being what makes this community so uniquely special. You guys, as Heath says, this is the best community online, and that's the truth. That's why people who have been here for 1 year or longer continue to be here each and every day. It is all for free. It is all invaluable. And thank you for helping me continue to improve myself as a person, right? As well as to continue to build me up and improve my work as an investor and as a trader. Thank you for everyone. Thank you. You all are the best. Have a wonderful weekend. We're going to go out here with our regular, we'll do honeymoon vocals again. Why not? It's a pretty chill Friday. Fajita Friday. Yeah, so look, Robert, I don't know how many people will understand what you're saying over here, but Robert, what you're saying is, are you planning to buy the dip 80% drawdown for a bounce play? So in the most recent Conquering the Markets live training session, exiting Bitcoin, I pointed out to you a tradable event at that particular time. I'm not going to talk about it right now. Right now, we're looking at exiting Bitcoin and what we're exiting into. There are multiple tradable events that occur during that 4-year cycle. That's getting way ahead. And if you want, insight, me showing you on the chart, just go ahead and watch the replay of last week's training session, right? But I pointed out a couple of different tradable events, but that's right now we're focusing on making sure that we ride to perfection as close as we can get it, the bull of all bulls here during the bull market phase, that we exit at the correct and right time while hedging and making sure if we do enter a super cycle that we're aware of it and positioned for it. Working on exiting into the bear market, which is a huge tradable event, and also one that you could use capital gains on. Who knows what they'll be at the time. And if they're the same for some normal tax rate for you, who knows what that's going to be. Again, we trade to make money. We don't trade for taxes. You have to pay your taxes. But that's just not here right now. That is just Robert getting ahead of the situation. We'll be talking about that, and we'll have training sessions on it. I'll be as we're towards the bear market low, looking to accumulate and getting everyone positioned for the next wave. Might be this weekend. Watch out for the ShakeOut. Cheers, my brother. It's beautiful. Cheers. Big shout out to Kiwis over in New Zealand. D, that's awesome. Gino, the Bitcoin playlist is fun. Listen, everyone, have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. That's right. Congratulations. Have a wonderful weekend wedding. You'll be in my thoughts and prayers. That's for sure. Everyone, I'll talk to you soon. May God bless you. Have a beautiful weekend.